Ohio. Cairo, the capital of the Arab Republic of Egypt. The largest city of the Middle East and the third largest city of Africa, after Lagos and Kinshasa. Without agglomeration. The largest Arabic-speaking city of the world. Egyptians often call him Maza, that is almost same word, as the whole country of Egypt. Miz. The ancient settlement which received the Arab name Al-Fustat, 10th in the 7th century, was in the place of the modern city. The first mosque built in the settlement in 642 on appearance resembled a tent. In 969 the city which received the name of Miz al-Kakar, where Miz, the ancient Semitic name of Egypt, Kakar, fortress, and also, insuperable, the winning, is obvious, was founded by it. The city to his contemporaries seemed. Cairo stands on both river banks, Nile in a northern part of Egypt, directly to the north from the place where the river follows from the valley surrounded with the desert and breaks into sleeves, forming the delta of Nile. To the southwest, merging with Cairo, he is adjoined by Giza. Old Cairo is on East River bank. This part of the city is very different. Throughout centuries it was built up randomly. There are narrow streets and the overpopulated apartment constructions. Within the western Cairo there are mainly government buildings and modern architectural constructions. Then in east part there are hundreds of old mosques and also the main tower which can serve as a reference point. The city expands to the west, occupying the farmlands adjoining Nile. In the middle of the 19th century, the Egyptian governor Ismail Pasha in the western areas arranged building on a sample of Paris. There are wide boulevards and several rather small parks. Within Cairo, in the middle of Nile, were located the island of Rhoda with the Muslim constructions, the Maniel Palace, Hospital of the Cairo University, oldest in the country, and a Nilamur, and the quiet green island of Jazira. Zamalek, where there are expensive private country houses, many embassies and representative offices of the foreign companies, modern constructions and several five-star hotels. In 1904, and 10 kilometers to the northeast from Cairo, Europeans built the suburb Geliopolis, which distinctive feature is the unique architectural style. In 1953, Geliopolis actually grew together with the growing Cairo. Cairo is located at the width about 30 degrees to the north from the equator and is on the southern border of a subtropical belt. A similar climate on the mode of temperatures as Los Angeles, however, rainfall in Cairo drops out much less. The winter in the city warm, summer roast temperature quite often exceeds 40 degrees. In the afternoon in the winter temperature usually exceeds 20 C, becomes cold up to 10 C, in separate nights at night up to 5 C, occasionally there are soil frosts. As the city is near the Sahara Desert, rainfall drops out very seldom. Climate droughty. But if drop out, then very intensively, sometimes causing floods. In a year 20 form of rainfall on average drop out, that is the capital of Egypt by one of the driest large cities of the world. The population of Cairo quickly grew within the last decades. Now here twice more people than in the mid-60s live. One of the reasons of it are the high level of birth rate and inflow of the population from rural regions. Because of rapid growth of the population of the city nearing several satellite towns were formed. Because borders of the city didn't extend, growth of population in weakened a little. Many prefer to live in the closest suburbs of Cairo, which total population is approximately equal to the population of the city. As of 2009, the population made 8,026,454 people in the city and card people in agglomeration. 2009 assessment. The number of inhabitants corresponding to a certain year is shown in the following table. Till 1877 population estimates, from 1882 to 2006, results of a population census. 2008 and 2009 calculation results are given. Only the population of the city of Cairo is considered, agglomeration wasn't taken into consideration. Population: 1800 card, 1859 card, 1907 654,476, 1937 1,312,096. 1960 card, 1996 6,789,479, 2006 7,740,018, 2008 7,947,121, 2018 9,293,612, 2020 9,513,330. Kalhar itself was marked by the site. On corners it was established by columns, between them pulled the ropes defining perimeter of future walls. Along all ropes placed hundreds of the workers ready on a special signal to begin to dig the earth. The ring of the tiny handbells hanged on ropes had to serve as a signal, but a certain favorable combination of planets and stars which astrologers watched for this purpose was required. At the moment when all intention expected the order of astrologers, handbells suddenly rang up. It appeared, on a rope the raven took seat. And workers started digging shovels the earth. So the foundation for the city was laid before the fertile moment that horrified astrologers. Al-Qahira. Mars ascends. Astrologers shouted. They claimed that this ominous omen that probably Turks will attack and will occupy the city. But it was impossible to improve situation already, and as a result of this incident the city called Al-Qahir, but not Al-Mansuria. Victorious. As it was planned earlier. The city was built by the commander of the Greek origin of the Middle Eastern state of Fatimid by the name of Johar es-Sakali. He decided to construct the fortress in which, if there was a need, people could find a shelter and sustain attack of enemies. And here he ordered to build the city surrounded with a wall in which for his protection constantly I kept one of the most faithful people with a part of the army. He called the city of Labama Cairo. Subsequently Europe began to call it Cairo. 640 year, the Arab conquest of Egypt. 642 year, the basis, the Arab military leader Amr ibn al-Asam of Fustat. Now Fustat's remains can be seen near the Margargis metro station. 868 year, Ahmed ibn Tulan's appointment the deputy of Egypt. Item Egypt becomes actually independent possession. 870 year, construction of the new capital of Egypt, Al-Qahira near Fustat. Within modern Cairo. 879 years, construction of the Mosque of Ibn Tulan. Still is one of the main attractions of Cairo. 969 year, Fatimid to conquer Egypt. Basis of Cairo. 972 year, construction al-Azkara, creation of the most ancient of the universities of the world existing nowadays. 996, 1021 years, government of the Fatimid Caliphate is Scarlet Hakim. Intensive monumental construction in Cairo. 1036, 1094, government of the Fatimid Caliph Mustansir. A serious economic, political and social crisis in the city and the country. 1073, 1094, the real power appears in hands of the Vizier Badr al-Damali. Stabilization of an economic, political and social status in the city and the country. On July 15, 1099, Crusaders capture Jerusalem and appear near the Egyptian borders. 1176, construction of the Cairo citadel by Saladin. 1250, to Mamelukes, slaves of whom military groups are formed. It's possible to seize power in Cairo and Egypt. Aybek becomes the first Mameluke sultan. The new elite is recruited in the former way. In the Golden Horde, slaves for formation of a ruling Mameluke quasi-caste continue to be bought. Two dynasties of Mameluke sultans are known. The Krita, Turkic peoples, 1250-1382, and Birzita, Circassians, Caucasians, 1382-1517. 1284, opening of the Mansouri Hospital, calculated on 8,000 people, in which there were men's and women's offices and accommodation of patients happened according to their diseases. 1302, an earthquake in Cairo. 1347, the beginning of Black Death, catastrophic epidemic of plague, the struck crushing blow on the population and city economy and the countries. Despite crisis, Mameluke sultans continued intensive monumental construction in Cairo. 1356, 1362, construction of the Mosque of the Sultan Hassan. 1511, Khan's construction al-Halili. On January 22, 1517, defeat by Ottoman troops of Mamelukes in battle at Radvani, the suburb of Cairo. 1517-1914, Egypt is a part of Turkey. In the Turkish deputies, pashas govern. On July 24, 1798, the entry of army of Napoleon into Cairo. September 1801, withdrawal of Napoleonic army from Egypt. 1805, coming to power of the Pasha Muhammad Ali, who was nominally recognizing the power of the Turkish sultans. 1811, beating of Mamelukes in the Cairo citadel. 1854, Alexandria was connected to Cairo, the railway line. It was the first railroad on the African continent. 1858, the basis of Narietum Bilakskogo, nowadays Egyptian. The museum. 1881, foundation of the Museum of Islamic Art. 1881-1882, Ahmad Orabi Pasha's revolt. 1882, the English occupation and formal preservation of the rights of Turkey on this territory. 1902, opening of the new building of the Cairo Egyptian Museum at Tahrir Square. 1908, foundation of the Cairo University, the first Egyptian university of modern type. 1908, foundation of the Coptic Museum. 1919, March-April, the revolt in Cairo minds the English authorities. 1945, opening of the Cairo International Airport. 1955 is accepted the Master Plan of Reconstruction of Cairo. 1987 opening of the first line of the Cairo subway. Already at the very beginning of the history, Cairo was an important shopping center, thanks to its convenient location on crossing of tradeways from southern Europe, the Western Africa and Africa to the south of the Sahara. Nowadays Cairo is also one of the most important business centers of the Middle East. The headquarters of many corporations and commercial organizations is located here. The city is the main publishing center in the Middle East. The largest sector of economy is state. In particular, it is public authorities and war industry. About a third of the industrial enterprises of Egypt are located near Cairo. The most important industries of production are processing of metals, the cement and printing industry, production of furniture, footwear, tobacco products and textiles. In Big Cairo, the large modern research and production center of computer and telecommunication technologies, smart village, an analog of the American Silicon Valley and Russian Skolkovo is organized. Besides, the paramount value has tourism. Big Cairo is the tourist center of the country and its largest source of foreign currency. The multi-terminal and multi-band Cairo International Airport hub, operating since 1945, one of the most loaded in the Middle East and main in the country. Since 1856, Cairo's station of Ramses of the Africa's first railway system works. Long-distance buses go to all cities of the Lower Egypt and to Sinai from Cairo. In the city there are a port and several piers for passenger, tourist and cargo navigation across Nile. The Cairo subway in 1987 became the first in Africa and in the Middle East. In Big Cairo, Heliopolis and Nasser City, the tram works. Earlier in Cairo there was also a trolleybus. A huge number of the taxi and route minibuses works at city streets. Architectural monuments. Before adoption of Islam by Egyptians in Cairo built the most various buildings. In the old city, a Tower Babylon Egyptian, the Coptic Saint Church of Maria of the 3rd century, a synagogue Ben Ezra remained of the 4th century. In Cairo there is a huge number of Islamic architectural monuments, including the oldest African mosque Amr of Ibn of Labama expert. 642 years. And also the mosque, oldest in Africa, which remained in an original form, the Mosque Ibn Taluna. 876-879. In the city there is own, Blue Mosque, the Mosque Al-Faf with the world's 3rd minaret on height. 1990. The National Mosque of Egypt, the Mosque Al-Azhar, was built in Cairo in 972 years. Set of the Cairo monuments built Fatimida. Besides the Mosque Al-Azhar in their board and in their style, Al-Hakim's Mosque. 990, 1013 years. Lulu. 1015. Al-Dusha. 1085. The Mosque of Al-Hussein, in which Muhammad's grandson, Hussein ibn Ali. 1154. Constructed without minaret, the Mosque Akmar. 1125. The mosque the expert Salatul, built for Hussein ibn Ali's burial, but who didn't become his tomb, is buried or constructed. Fatimida also built to themselves a palace complex. The Ayyubidski Sultan Salah al-Din repaired city walls and built the Cairo citadel. Despite prevalence of Muslims in Cairo, there lived also Christians. In the 10th century, the Greek church and St. George's Monastery in Coptic Street, Mark's Basilica were built. In the 11th century, on the island of Rhoda, built Cairo. After Shito Fatimid replaced a Sunni Mameluke Sultanate, style of the built buildings are changed. The Mameluke style and is widely presented in modern Cairo. At Mamelukes, Cairo became the richest city, and they were deeply religious governors. At them in Cairo, 1267-1269. The complex of buildings Kalana N. The end of the 13th century. Sansa al-Ghavli's mausoleum built the mosque of the Sultan Baybars 1304. The Beshtek Palace, 1334. Madrasa and the Mosque Nasir Muhammad, 1303. Blue Mosque, 1347. The Mosque of the Sultan Hassan, 1356-1363. And Mosque Madrasa of the Sultan Barkak, 1386. Both built as madrasa for training by all four Sunni madhab. Cairo was large Islamic education center where students from around the world gathered. In 1382, the Turkic Mameluke dynasty Bakratav was replaced by Zita. Architectural monuments of this period include Mahmud al-Kurdi's mosque known for the round minaret, 1395. Atypical for those times, the mausoleum of Kate Bn, 1474. The mausoleum of an Ash-Shafia, 1211. And Hanaka Farah and Nasira in the Cairo necropolis, the Mosque of Al-Ashraf, 1424. The Mosque Al-Muyada, 1415-1420. The Mosque Tagribirdi, 1440. The Mosque, the Mausoleum and Madrasa of the Sultan Al-Buri, 1503. And Memorial Complex of the Emir Kirkimus, 1507. In 1517, Egypt was conquered by Ottomans. During their 350-year board in Cairo, there was a set of buildings in the new architectural style inspired by Byzantium. Suleiman Pasha al-Hadams, 1528. Mosque became the first, then followed Sinan Pasha and Mosque, 1571. Mosque al-Mahmoudiya, 1567. Abu al-Dakab's Mosque, 1774. The House Zainapathan, the 16th century. The House Gamal Scarlet Dina Azakabi, 1637. The House of the Emir Ridvan Bey, 1655. And others. The exact time of construction of the mosque the expert Sayyid Zainab is unknown, however it was also initially executed in Ottoman style. In 1616 in Cairo one more Mameluke mosque, the Mosque al-Bardain appeared. It was built by the rich Arab merchant who didn't have cultural ties with Ottomans. The short period of the French dominion in Egypt didn't leave in Cairo of remarkable buildings. The next historical period, time of the British board. At Masters of a dynasty of Muhammad Ali in Cairo, one of the largest in Cairo, Muhammad Ali's, 1848. Mosque, the Egyptian Museum, National Library and Archive of Egypt, some of the first public opera theatres in Africa. The Hadivsky Opera and the Cairo Opera appeared. The authorities of the Sultanate Egypt during a nationalist campaign opposite to the mosque of the Sultan Hassan built the Mosque Arafah. Cairo, occupied by Britain, was constructed the Museum of Islamic Art, the Coptic Museum, which collected the collection of works of Coptic art, richest in the world, and Church of Saints of Piet and Pians. In the downtown Tahrir Square, the Sakakini Palace and a workplace of the President of Egypt, the Abdin Palace, was built. Modern architectural sites include the Cairo Television Tower, the Memorial of the Unknown Soldier, Geir Anderson's Museum, the Children's Museum. World-famous Egyptian pyramids are on the outskirts of Giza, the southwest suburb of Cairo. The district highway in Al-Akram Pyramidi Highway connects with the main part of the city of Giza. Now urban development approached closely the Giza Plateau, and the next house is only in 200 meters from the Sphinx. Directly over pyramids there passes the air route conducting to a glide path of the Cairo airport. Therefore, air passengers whose planes sit down in Cairo have an opportunity before landing to admire these wonders of the world. Only 9 traffic lights are the share of 18 million big Cairo. May 2008. At the same time, drivers absolutely quietly go to red light. On the outskirts there is an unusual quarter known as the City of Dustmen. It is inhabited, generally by the Egyptian Christians, Copts who collect garbage from all city and his sorting for recycling. Waste is among houses, on roofs and in the yards everywhere, extending an unpleasant smell on a quarter. It is family business which brings it to participants quite decent, by local standards, income. In the topmost point of quarter the modern temple and religious complex ornated and perfectly equipped is constructed. The cathedral, which is located in a cave in the thickness of the rock, contains up to 20,000 parishioners. In spite of the fact that the name of the city has the Arab origin. Al-Qahira, victorious. The Coptic name received the national etymology translating the name of the city. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.